everybody, I'm Pete, and I'm Pete from Everything is Noise, and I'm here with Victor and Dan from Dvne. How are you guys today?
June. Let's do it again.
June. Excellent.
The
Are you
band's
excited?
called June.
June. Oh,
June
is it?
It's June.
Oh, so you're not meant to say Dvne?
No, it's just June.
Fuck. Okay. Wow. There we go. Mind blown.
You can redo it, man, if you want. It's all good. We've got time.
Yeah. Is it a Roman numeral or?
So it used to just be a U.
Yeah.
But then it got changed for slight well, not legal reasons, but kind of.
Yeah, it was more a question of like you've got Dune the book, you've got the movies, you've got the shop as well.
The shop in the UK.
The shop, Dune shop in the UK. So we just were like a mix. It's a bit like, you know, Mono, like the band, you know, the band Mono from Japan. They capitalize everything. So we're like, you know, we're just gonna change it so people can find us, and I think
that's caused more confusion than anything else in there.
that's it. No, that's it. You can find us anywhere.
Yeah. I was going to say your SEO is incredible online. You just put in your June, and it just comes up straight away. So
that's the good thing about the V. The problem is not everyone knows how to pronounce it.
That's it.
Well, now I know.
we literally made a post on Instagram yesterday saying, like, a big post saying it's June.
Sorry, I don't use Instagram, so I'm sorry about that. Awesome. And so I guess like I'm not even going to try and say the album title just yet, because I know there's some Latin in there as well, isn't there?
A little bit of Latin.
It's Babylonian.
Yeah. A bit of Navajo throughout the album as well.
Yeah. So the title is a mix of Babylonian and the A-E letter. That's coming from Aesir, which is it's a place. It's a place where the Nordic gods were living. Well, part of the
Aesir gods. Yeah.
Living there. So it was, the man was like Etemen Ænka is these big towers, the ziggurat Babylonian tower, and Aesir was like, we changed it because Enki sounds a bit crap.
It didn't work that well.
No, it's not very
it didn't sound good on vocal.
And Ænka is just a nicer kind of tone to it, so we changed it, and then the AE, just because the Aesir, I thought that was a nice touch. We said it was a nice touch.
A few sort of combined meanings in there with it, which is nice.
Oh, nice. I didn't really appreciate there's going to be so much depth to even just the name as well. So that's really awesome.
Yeah. No, we are nerds.
And this is actually one of the reasons I really wanted to chat to you guys, because I love Dasharan, and I'm going to hold my hands up here. I've managed to get halfway through June, and I stopped for 2 weeks, and I just forgot everybody's name, and I couldn't get back into it again. I'm really keen to like delve in a little bit more about the storytelling within your both your albums, or three of your albums, sorry, and also where it's going to lead. Are you planning like a big sort of sci-fi epic with your albums? But also, just talk about the album itself. And I guess you guys must be pretty damn excited for tomorrow, because it's been 4 years since Asheron.
Yeah.
3 years since Asheron, 2017. Well, that's 4 years.
That's 4 years.
Yeah, that's 4 years. 3 years and a half. Yeah, we were meant to release in September.
Right.
Yeah. You know, COVID happened. So
So I mean, the recording for this we actually finished nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We've been sleeping on this for like a while, so we're just like, you know.
Yeah, very excited to finally have it out tomorrow. Yeah, for sure.
I guess, were you like looking to try and find a record deal with Metal Blade or somebody else before you really went for it, or?
So I mean, we were already talking to Metal Blade whilst we were in recording, and I think we sort of had an idea of between both of us that things were generally going to be out last summer, but obviously with all lockdown and everything kicking in, we basically just sort of made the decision with them that we wanted to hold off as long as possible until we could potentially tour again. Obviously, it's not worked out that way. Back this point last summer, we were hoping that we'd be back gigging by the start of this year, but such is life, and we can only obviously hold off for so long.
I think it's a good moment to release the album, because the music industry being in the current state it is anyway, I think the UK is probably, like, excluding New Zealand obviously, and some part in the US, I think the first country in the European Union that's really going to restart with gig is going to be the UK. thanks to the vaccine. So I think we're quite in a good place actually in the UK. We've got some good tours that are about to be announced, so we cannot talk about it too much, and some festivals as well. So, but we're gonna end up playing some shows before the end of the year in the UK, and we also have a full tour booked in Europe. So it's working okay if things are happening, you know. So I think like I've seen some bands, you know, Rancy Patsutsu, Elephant Tree, and all these bands that released in April, like literally when COVID happened,
right,
and I feel for them. I really feel for them. Because Elephant Tree's got, I've just checked their music on Spotify the other day. They've got millions of it's a great album, but they've got millions of listens on Spotify and stuff. But they haven't played a show since then, you know, and that's murder for them. That's especially when they're coming up. I feel like they were coming up with their kind of best album to date, and the Holy Roar, disaster happened as well. The Holy Roar finished as well.
Yeah,
you know,
of course, exactly, yeah. And it was just this perfect storm from always. Because I reviewed that album last year and absolutely loved it, and I was totally gassed to see them. But the good thing is, like, looking at their lineup for this year already, I think I've already seen them on like 4 festival bills. And quite high up as well, so I think they're going to hit like it's smashing this year. And I guess if you guys do have that kind of thing booked as well, then you can really hit the ground running at this point with hopefully some big gigs in the UK and in Europe as well once things open up a bit more over there too.
Yeah, the only issue with that is there is a bit of a backlog on a lot of these festivals. So like Hellfest, like, you know, all the big festivals in Europe, they are rerunning 2020. Yeah, that's it.
2 years now.
2 years, because some of these festivals are just going to redo the thing in 2022, which is a lineup from 2020. So, you know, you don't have that many. Completely understandable, but really shit for us.
Will you guys be going out to Psycho again this year, or is that it up in the air?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
No, we were meant to possibly go back out a couple of years ago, but things just didn't happen.
Just visa difficulty.
Yeah. Was it a cool show though? Because I saw like it had a pool party and stuff like that. I was really bloody jealous of that.
Very awesome, very surreal. Vegas is just. Have you ever been to Vegas?
No, not yet. No.
It's a weird place. Like great, fantastic experience. But a week in Vegas is enough time in Vegas. I think for anyone.
Yeah. I've kind of just got that image of fear and loathing in my head the whole time. Just my experience is just like that almost.
Well, you're in a casino as well for like. So where we got smart is we took a place outside the casino because we didn't want to stay in the casino all the time.
That's a good chat.
So we were able to be outside and stuff like that because it's 40 degrees, you know, like 45 at some points, 45 degrees, and you are like you have to stay in, and there's no lights, and the only moments where we were grabbing a bit of light were on the pool kind of moments, but it's so hot, and you know, it's just that said, the show was super cool, like the biggest stage we played at the time, so it's like, you know,
still probably the biggest.
Yeah, still we played it. Sounded cooler to say at the time, but
But no,
that was cool.
But yeah, a lot of doom in 40-degree heat.
Yeah,
must be quite a thick atmosphere, like.
Yeah.
And we managed to break down in the desert at one point as well on that.
Yeah. We
That's a rite of passage, isn't it?
Yeah, we've broken down some places before, but slap bang in the middle of the desert during a storm and then 40, 50 degree heat.
It's just
it was not a place you want to be.
we ended up playing the show in San Diego the day after, and it was a show with Elder and Red Funk. So we're like, you know, this is kick-ass. And we're opening, and the show was sold out, and we arrived super late because our van broke down. And I remember I'm asleep in the van, so someone wakes me up, and there's a guy from Elder and Red Funk waiting for us outside to carry our gear on stage. We open the door, and there's literally a full house. So we just arrive, and we arrive on the side of the stage, and there's 600, 700 people in front of us, kind of like, right, cool, you guys play, and we're like, just woke up, man.
That was intense.
That was intense.
That was cool. That was
couple of beers and you.
That's cool, but that's far from ideal. But
far from ideal,
do what you do.
Good. I'd like to hit the East Coast to start with next time. Like, man, same story. It might be easier to go back to the US with their new government. So because visa is a real pain in the ass. It's very, very complicated.
I've heard this, yeah.
Yeah.
And not to mention getting your gear over there as well, right?
Well, you take your guitar and you hire equipment there. Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to just shift us onto the music of the album a little bit more. Yeah. So you really kind of you found a signature sound, and I still, for the life of me, can't find any bands which have like the layering you do with the synth work, the prog, and of course the vocals, which are just so unique. I think in this space, they've really cut through. I think. What did you really do to build on like the sound of Asher, and what was certainly a key focus when you sort of got going with writing Etemen Ænka?
Time after Asher, like when we finished Asher, and we had a lot of stuff, we were like, this is cool. Like we kind of identified a bit of a direction with Asher, and interestingly enough, we kind of had the moment where we're like, oh, I think we're gonna go a bit like more soft, like maybe more on the more melodic kind of eldery, kind of Viridian Bloom thing as we were writing. But actually, it didn't happen this way at all. We got Jack, who was on bassist on the album, and the way we start playing together was like, actually we were feeling heavier with more, and we were like, I guess the main chat was when we were writing Etemen was, you know, high energy, good impact, and while keeping our kind of progressive, not even progressive, but you know, those kind of change of movements and change of moments in the songs and change of dynamics. So once we had that kind of those song structure written, then the rest really fell into place really nicely. Like the vocals, like the improvement on the vocals is just Dan and myself been doing so much more vocals through the time.
That's two years of touring vocals.
That's it. And
We find after 20 years of doing vocals in heavy bands, actually learning how to like use breathing techniques. That helped.
Is it the art of screaming? Did you get that DVD?
Yeah, I've got that DVD.
Even watching yourself playing shows on videos, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm singing out of key, so I need to sing in key because that's not fair. And same, like you start seeing like inconsistency between shows, and like we're really on that, you know, we'll talk to each other and we're like, oh, you know, you are on this, it was a bit crap tonight. Work on that, and we do that with each other all the time.
Nice, that's cool.
Dudley, our drummer, start working with like metronome and start doing like, you know, like rudiments, which he was, you know, he's more of a free flow kind of drummer, which is great, and we keep that. We don't play with click and stuff like that, but you know, we start putting a bit more like work,
right? Yeah,
I guess in our stuff.
Yeah, I think we started being a bit more regimented, as you say, a bit serious,
a bit more
serious
pro.
with it. I'd say that one thing we definitely did with this album, though, over a Sharon, is we'd given ourselves a lot more time in the studio to continually work on stuff, whereas a Sharon, I think, was more completely written before we went into the and we had less time in the studio. Whereas for this, we've had for Etemen, we've had more time for tweaking things, adding extra layers, ripping entire
sections apart.
Like the original album runtime was about over 80 minutes.
Wow. I remember that.
Serious prog.
Mark at one point, so there's been some good.
That
happens. That happened with a Sharon. I think a Sharon there was at least an entire track that
we took a song out, which was like a 10-minute track. We took it out. But sometimes we'll just look at that thing. I think another element as well, which to add on what Dan is saying, is we were smarter at finding spaces because we knew we were adding. The first stuff that came out was our drummer said he wasn't a fan of his drum sound on Asher, which I completely agree with.
Right. Yeah.
Something that was a bit more three-dimensional, you know, something that was a bit more present. But the thing is, when like drums, you hit bass, you hit really high, you hit mid stuff. So it's a wide range instrument, and then you've got guitars where we are tuned. Dan and I are tuned with like bass strings on the lower strings, and then the rest is like a guitar string. So we are like in the bass territory and the guitar territory. Our bassist is very much bass mid range, because sometimes he plays guitar section, which end up being like more of a guitar rather than a bass.
Cool. Yeah.
We've got synths, which are like
Then
Moog,
we've
like
got
sub.
yeah.
That's
I
it.
was going to say those came on a lot more this time as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
So much frequencies. So you have to make space. So we didn't do as much guitar layering as we've done on. So it's not like we didn't do the things where Dan is playing a riff and then he's gonna layer it, and then I do the same.
Yeah,
and
there's parts in the sharing where there's like 8 to 12 guitar layers on parts, and this one there's less, but it's just more because, well, yeah, as I said as well, one of the other major differences is synth is now a full-time member.
Exactly.
A full-time instrument. Whereas the sharing, it was there, but it was generally more for probably interludes and a couple.
That's it. It was just like small bits. Yeah.
Whereas it became more of an actual.
We didn't
not so much writing focus on this, because I think the synth on this, we still were at the point where we were learning our way with synth a little bit. Like, happy to play around with stuff, but it was still written more as a guitar album, I'd say, and then we put the synth on in the studio.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that might be something that does change for next time, is that
we start using the synth
as an actual writing tool as well.
Yeah. So sorry. After
I thought it really helped like build like the swells to the climaxes with synth this time. Like with Ashran, it was very much like guitar driven, but this time you get a lot more depth to that sort of build up. It feels like in the final like finale.
When it does drop.
Yeah. As soon as you want to have like those sections, we were like, oh, we want this part to be heavy. We don't have to add an extra guitar. We just go Moog, and you're like flatten things, and that's also like we haven't played since Etemen Ænka is ready to go, and so we're kind of now. We used to have like one synth on stage. Now we've got like a synth rack. Like I built a synth rack, man. It's just like Moog, and it's gonna be like proggy, like for sure. But
looks like something Opeth should have on stage.
Exactly, that's what it looks like. And we're gonna have fun with it, and I'm excited to hear what it's gonna sound like when you're gonna start hearing those big, I remember seeing Cult of Luna live, Damnation, like 4 years ago. That's probably one of the best shows I've been. It was a Mariner tour, and it was. I remember the first stuff. The stuff I remember the most from that was the synths. The synths and the light show, but the synth itself is like when it was hitting you, you would be like right.
Feel like you got.
Yeah, you feel it. You feel it, and you can be Sun playing after. You're not gonna have the same effect. Well, maybe.
I was thinking like I haven't actually managed to catch you guys live yet, but have you guys ever seen Boss Keloid?
We played with them.
Yes, they were on the Desert Festy all day.
Yeah, because I missed that gig. Yeah, I kind of imagine your sound being very similar to them, because they have again that very rich like synth dense sound to them as well.
Synths, and then they're using a lot of octavers on the guitar as well, so you've got that whole just weight of tone just from having so many different basically octaves in there.
Yeah.
But no, they're cool.
More space as well in their riff. It's a little bit less frantic than us. It's a bit. More stoner,
that's very stoner.
They're a bit more metal. I think this would be the
That's it.
But no, they were cool. Enjoyed watching them when we were down.
For sure.
Last time.
Is there any like?
They're just about to put a new album out, I think, are they?
I think so. Yeah, this year's like stacking up to be absolutely incredible for like new releases. So yeah, I'm gassed for it.
Backlog, that's what backlog.
Are there any other like influences which you thought you picked up, maybe even before Ashran, you wanted to like imbue into Etemen Ænka?
Pardon?
Are there any influences from other bands which you thought you wanted to like, and styles or techniques that they use which you wanted to put into Etemen Ænka, which really like inspired you?
Not really.
I don't know if there's anything that we'd say like sat down. I mean, at the moment, I'm trying to even think what we were listening to 3 years.
Yeah, that's always it.
I mean, obviously, like stuff we're listening to at the time will have influences and stuff, but I don't think there was really anything that we were like, oh, we wanted it to sound like this or like this.
I remember towards the later stage of the album writing, the thing that came out more was things from like movie and like soundtracks from like games, movies, animes.
there was a lot of synth influencing.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, more so than guitar wise and stuff. I think.
Akira. We talked about Akira tons.
Ghost in the Shell
soundtrack. Yeah. All this stuff, we start talking about it a lot because we were like,
to go nerd out.
That's it.
And be 16-year-old me.
It's just
it's good.
When you start listening to those stuff, it's cool to like we've got the music, we've got the riffs, and for us, I think it's all about those cool riffs and cool kind of, it's still playful, and it can be heavy, but it's still playful on the guitar and stuff. It's fun, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and so the structure it's like that's a heavier part of the work, and then the rest is just time in the studio to like be creative and have all this idea. So we were less like, oh, like on Asheron, I remember when we were writing Asheron, all of the songs were called. We had one song which was called Yob. We had one song which was called Elder. Because we were like, we were like a young band back then. And with this one,
Armin Rodan song.
That's it. It's called like the Amanda one. And that was completely different on this time around. This time around, we were like, we felt like it was our songs,
Yeah, it felt a lot more natural, I think, writing this.
That's really cool. I thought what you mentioned about bringing in like other influences from like movies and such like that was something I picked up on. Was like if you listen to like the whole package, like the sound of Asheron, it's sort of like, and please don't take this the wrong way, but it kind of feels like that gritty B-movie 80s sort of sci-fi vibe, it feels like, and just the total package, like the sound and everything like that. And every time like I've sat down and really like enjoyed the album, I kind of like get that visualization, that imagery from it and everything like that. But with Etemen Ænka, I kind of feel like it's the blockbuster. This is the fucking like Spielberg, this is the like the big war almost, where Asheron was a journey, and you'd like describing a journey of like, I apologize, I don't know the story of Asheron too well, but like the journey of a flight almost. And then you've got Etemen Ænka, which is just this colossal war with like your two middle tracks, track 5 and track 7, both really like the big battles of it, it feels like. Is that something you'd agree with, or is that just something I've picked up on all randomly?
It's more you've picked up.
No, it's fun to see what people pick up. Though.
That's true.
Yeah, that's good. No, I mean definitely. I mean, there's definitely a sort of, I'd say there's more of a big sort of grandiose sort of feel to this one. Whether it's the extra synths doing that, whether it's the songwriting. I mean, the production on this to me is about twice the size as well, which helps with that huge epic feel. I mean, storyline wise, Etemen actually predates Asheron. It's
cool.
kind of set up as a prequel. So they are meant to sort of sit within not the same narrative, but like the same sort of world and whatever.
So like the Culture series kind of stuff, where it's
a little bit. Good reference. You've not read Ian Banks yet, have you?
I've read one of these books. Let me try to remember his name.
Yeah, I'm still working my way through. I think I'm 6 out of.
I think I'm
9.
All of them at the start of last lockdown for about the 3rd time. But so I mean, there's always that sort of. Obviously, we want to tell a story, and this one was no different to Asheron. But no, it's interesting to see the sort of different vibes. I mean, I think for us, Asheron was more narratively about sort of nature. Whereas this one's much more not political.
Society.
It's more a sort of societal discussion than
100%. Yeah, that's exactly what you said. One is like an environmental focused thematics, and the other one is more of how would you say just like the few things we've talked about in interviews were like the kind of society things, the kind of our relation with like the norms and what we think like society makes things acceptable, and how we sometimes are living into it and we don't really take a step back to look at this. And that was meant to be the chat on that. Wealth, the spread of wealth.
There's a lot on technology as well.
Lots of that's it. But technology is kind of like
it's all tied in.
Technology was also in Asheron, with Thirst and all that kind of stuff. But it's
gonna need to read over the Asheron book.
Stuff about that.
Of course, Thirst, yeah, for sure.
But the whole thing was it was just like different angles on different things, and while staying in this universe that we've created, over the years. And I think we've been starting to talk about the next album in terms of like concept and see how it's gonna color the next album as well. Because I think Asher definitely had that kind of environmental vibe and Miyazaki vibe, and I think this one has a more like, you know, I think the story brings and obviously the production, but when we entered in the studio, we had the concept. So we were like talking about it, and I think we're really.
That's another difference with this one, I think, is that we had like all the artwork was done before we even went into the studio, for example, for this.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Concept-wise and art-wise, everything like that we had down.
It was visually.
Yeah, so you had that image already.
With it was, I think, a lot more sorted this time round, like before we actually went in. Obviously, we're still working on lyrics and bits and pieces.
But that part is.
So, for
fine.
example, I'm in a share, and I think the artwork was done post-album.
A few months after,
sort of thing. So it's it is definitely an interesting one, having, say, like the artwork already there.
I think it's great.
It gives everyone a sort of good idea of
where you want to go.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So the artwork itself maybe is not something I care too much about for the next one, but definitely the having not the lyrics, even the lyrics, you need to change them because the way we write singing is usually a little bit further down the line, because you know, that's why we've got big instrumental sections, and because we sometimes we're like, you don't need any vocals, you know.
Yeah.
But the story and the concept and the direction of that, I think is just super important. And I think I don't see ourselves just going and write an album and say, oh, what are we going to talk about? No, it just has to be related to a story that we want to talk about for the next one anyway.
And are you all like passionate about this kind of like sci-fi prog? Are all of you into that? Like
Dudley, Dan, and I, yeah, like we talk, like although the lyrics are Dan and myself, Dudley is involved in like the initial story,
concept and stuff.
Yeah, we talk about it. We have
a good night in for a couple of
days. Talk about it. Say, hey, maybe it's like this book, maybe it's like this series. Maybe we can talk about this. I like this in this, etc.
I mean, we're all reading various things as well. I tend to be quite on with my fantasy and sci-fi and stuff, and so does Victor, so does Dudley. Obviously, you have the slight issue of reading sci-fi in a second language.
In English, yeah. I listen to books and stuff.
Audiobooks are your friend.
Which audiobooks are our friends for English, but yeah, and even like outside books, like there's so much stuff going on as well in video games. So much stuff going on as well in like the cinematography of sci-fi is amazing. Art in general, as well as tons of interesting stuff. You know, like
I mean, I just sneak Warhammer references in without any of you realizing it's fine.
But yeah, man, like it's a whole like even with the artwork, like that's another thing we're talking about, like the artwork stuff. We were chatting about it with the boys when I remember going to a gallery back in France with my friends, and I went to see a Gustav Klimt exposition, and this guy had this huge mural which was all golden with this kind of weird creature on it, and like humanoid creature, and there's like a big monkey on it. Oh, cool. It's called the Beethoven mural if you want to check it out. And it's wild, and we were starting to chat with Marlon because Marlon already did a couple of did a t-shirt for us. And we start talking about it with the boys, and we're like, oh, you know what would be cool is have like a gold album, and then the visuals start coming in, and because we were already had this idea of the celestials being and the immortality things, so it was like, oh, this could work. And then we start like, you know, all the artwork and all these kind of things. It's like we're really on the ball with these kind of things, because I think it's as important as the music to a degree, you know. I think
so, definitely. Yeah. Like especially like videos too at the moment. Like you guys did a great piece of work for Sixth. Is it Sixth? Sorry.
SI14.
SI14, sorry. Yeah,
that one is Roman numerals.
That's it.
So I put macros on my gaming keyboard for every time I was typing it in the chat. I was just back, so I could do that quickly. But sorry, I've lost my point there. But the video. So you put a lot of effort into like the SI14 video, and do you kind of see that being a staple of what you're going for in the future? So you're going to like have maybe audio visual behind you when you're playing gigs, or you're going to do a lot more videos, that kind of thing?
Well, money is an issue for touring, obviously. Like obviously if we were having our ways with production, we'd go nuts and we'll have like we've got great friends we've been working with for like video in general. Like we start when Dan and I went to Paris to do the SI14 creature part of the shot, and we had like a projectionist, we had like tons of guys on the cameras, we had performers and stuff like that, and
we're very lucky that they all work for next to nothing.
that's it. They work for free. So we just have to pay
we made
for.
Them food.
Yeah, that's it. We made them food, and we just pay for like the high equipment hire and like
Nice.
the kind of things. But so obviously, if we were having it our way, we would do it every night. Every night we'll have like some projection.
Yeah, we've looked into projections and everything, and obviously just the whole sort of stage show is obviously very sort of important to us as well. We have our own lights we've sort of taken on tour and bits and pieces, and just sort of grown that over.
And we also start working with like Litex as well. So we start having people we regularly work with. So I think the plan is like for big shows where the money and the guarantees are enough. Like, see for instance, if you're playing an outdoor festival in the middle of the afternoon, there's no point of bringing a light technician with you.
No, absolutely.
No one's gonna say,
just do strobes and you're good, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
So, but if when possible and when it's like, I don't know, like a road bound show or these kind of things, we're gonna have someone
for sure
doing something special because you want. Until the day you can do that every night, but
obviously that would be ideal. But we're not quite there yet.
No, you need the right guarantees for these kind of things. But man, talking about the visual as well, like Dan and I've been talking about that so many times. Like animations is something we'd love to do if it's the right one.
I'd love to do a fully animated video.
And also we talked about because we start creating a bit of a universe, and next album we're gonna do another story, another concept, and we'll probably do that for a few things, Well, nothing's going to stop us at some point when the time is right to do some kind of illustrated book, and work with an artist on that.
Awesome.
Everything's sorted for it to do, but it's
too early.
It's too early a little bit. I think it'd be good, as you say. Next one could be
or maybe the one after, when you start having like a universe, just create some kind of illustrated novels would be super sweet,
And that's what people want at the moment. They want that complete experience. And obviously, I've got the one side of people doing coffee beans and stuff like that. But then, if you're doing that actual genuine merchandise, which is like reusable and like you can put on your shelf and like have it for years and years, that's what people really want, isn't it? Oh, like that, right?
To me, when it's art and related, I kind of get it. When you start being things like Ghost, who has a dildo, I'm like, cool.
Don't want. No sex toys.
No sex toys. No sex toys. Everyone did sex toys molded on them. That's
not Rammstein.
That's Rammstein, yeah.
I mean, they have been porno videos.
They have. They have.
Jesus. Again, not quite there. We'll get the projectionist first.
Projectionist first.
Awesome. I guess I was going to talk a bit more about the production, but I think we've really covered that anyway, haven't we?
We kind of talked briefly. Obviously, like we've talked about all the people we worked with. So just shout out to Graham, our producer, all the guys who do lights, and all my guys in France as well, because the quality of this album and the way all things turn out is also thanks to them, because. Like that SI14 video, we're like super pleased about how it looks. Same with that live sessions we've done recently.
And did you change studio from last time, or do you stick with the same one and just had a bigger budget and more time with them?
Yeah, so same studio, same producer, but this time he was able to mix it, and then the master got done by one of the guys from Cult of Luna.
Oh, very cool, nice.
So who works in somewhere in Sweden. Fuck knows which country he's in.
Yeah, he's up in Sweden. Yeah.
Magnus, we'll probably keep working with. So obviously, there's been like loads of, in terms of the production, the way Graham worked with us is. We like this idea of working with someone we know and improving on the points we are not super happy with, or like things we want to change. And Graham is like. Graham is that guy who is really much like an extra member of the band at this stage, and he's always on, like, he's a total workaholic. That's what you say. Workaholic. He's really hard worker. He goes to the state and do like get trained by like some amazing guys. He got trained by the guy who produced and like the last two Tools records. So you know,
okay.
he's like he puts a lot of time in his craft, and so we're gonna work with him again, and we already know some stuff we want to improve on. So we're gonna like maybe next time, instead of recording everything in the same studio, maybe we'll do some stuff in other places, like the drums.
Yeah, we'll talk about drums.
Yeah, like drums in like a bigger space, so you can have like a expand on the sound and introduce maybe other instrument. Like, you know, just have some ideas, use different amps to keep, you know, things fresh and interesting for us, rather than going with a producer you don't know and it could go terribly wrong and you spend tons of money when you could have done. You know, I think sometime to time it's good to work with someone, you know, and keep just that working relationship.
Yeah, and especially as they are growing your sound as well. Like as I mentioned, like it does sound so much bigger, this album, and I think it's definitely going to like impact a lot more people just from the way it sounds, I think. So yeah, it's a really good job on that.
Think so.
Right. Nice. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure finally speaking to you. This is Dan and Victor from Dvne, not Dvne. Awesome to meet you guys. Thanks very much.
What's the name of the album? Just try it.
Oh, Etemen Änka.
Got it. There you go.
There you go. Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys.
Have a good one.